Hey everyone. It is June. Where am I? On January 5th, right? You start the new year. You can't remember the year, but now I can't remember the month. So, hey everyone. Hey Beth, how are you?
Hello. I'm awesome.
Hey. I
Happy to
am
be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad, you guys. I have the greatest person on with us tonight. Not only is she kind of a guru in all things, writing, life coach, all kinds of stuff, but she's also a personal friend of mine. And so I want to welcome you, Beth. And tonight
I'm
is a
so
fun
excited to be
night.
here. It
Yeah,
is.
so
Great way to
glad.
spend my Friday.
Yeah, right. And so it's not our normal day either to do our lives, but we are going to do it tonight because really it's time for you to sit back. We know that you're at home, right? You're not out at the
Hmm.
club having fun. No,
No.
you're at home watching the live. So stick around because tonight you are going to learn some of the coolest tips about a kind of a in trend thing, but it's really growing, and that is
Hmm.
vision boards, setting goals, right? Everybody has the hashtag goals right now, and not resolutions, really. So remember, like all lives, no matter what night it is, that you can definitely write your comments down. If you have any questions, please put them on here and Beth will answer them for you. So again, it is January 5th, 2018. And like I said, we're talking about goals. So again, grab that paper. Beth, I want you to tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I am an author, blogger, and a coach. And I started writing back around 2010. I finished my first book in 2013. I published that book in 2014. And ever since then, that catapulted the
Mm-hmm.
author part of my life. And then over the last year or two, I really put a lot of time and thought and effort into a passion that I had, uh, that was coaching
Yeah.
and doing vision boards, because a lot of the same elements and things totally transformed my own life.
Right. And your backstory is amazing. And what I love, you guys, if you do not follow Beth, which I want you to give all of your different social medias and websites here in just a second. If you don't follow her, you should be doing so because you're not only are you going to get tips for your daily life, but cool things like bucket list, which admittedly I don't have one, but you always inspire me when I see your stuff come. I'm like, oh, I should do that.
Yay!
But you put everything out there, and she doesn't hold back. She definitely tells
Mm.
you like it is, and really gives you good tips to get going in your life. So, tell us all the different places we can find you, Beth.
Sure. So my website is my full name, BethAnnStifflemire.com. That's where you can find everything. I keep everything in one place there, even my blog. My blog is actually corporateanddomestic.com, but it's tied into my main website as well. So you can find me there. Facebook is where I hang out the most. That's at B.A. Stifflemire. That's where you can find me there. And also, if you go, I could go on for days. If you go to, I have a lot out there. If you go to my website, you can also find my Instagram and my Twitter
Mhm.
feed as well.
Great. And again, you are on Facebook mostly, but it does transpire to other
Hmm.
places everywhere. So definitely you want to be on there as she is giving you tips to live by. And so tonight, for the beginning of the new year, which happy new year to everyone, you are going to be teaching us one, what a vision board is. We're talking about
Hmm.
goals and resolutions, and how we get started throughout this great year. New energies coming
Yeah.
in and kind of welcoming that in, right? So,
Right.
first and foremost, what is the vision board?
What is a vision board? The fun question. A
Right.
vision board is a lot of what it says it is. It is a visual board, and I'll show you one of mine I've got here. It is a visual board of something you want to focus on, a goal you want to meet or achieve, or an area of your life you want to work on. It's a visual that tells your brain this is a constant focus. This is where I should be. This is what I should be focusing on, because as human beings, unfortunately, we have an attention span about this big because we're so busy, right? We have busy
Right.
lives, work, kids, hobbies, everything in between. It's important to keep those visuals present and in front of us.
Right. So one of the things that I told you this earlier, because again, guys, she's a close friend of mine, so we talk nearly every day. But
Hmm.
one of the things that we were talking about was every year at this time, every single year, I always see my Facebook, Instagram, whatever, filled with resolutions. And this year, I haven't been seeing that. I haven't been seeing the, big run out to, get the new exercise equipment or join the gym or anything like that. It's been more about goals, which they
Hmm.
are different things. And so, how does that tie into the vision board?
Sure. So goals are front and center to a vision board.
Okay.
When I do my workshops, that's actually a large chunk of what I spend the time on. I think
Okay.
the difference that people have to realize between just setting a resolution versus a goal is a resolution is something you want to do. But a
Right.
goal without a direction or a plan, whether it be a resolution or just an idea that you have of something you want to do, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to pan out because it's just an
Right.
idea. A plan is a roadmap. It gets us where we want to go and where we want to be. So I think that what's happened, personally, from what I've seen in the
Hmm.
last year, maybe 2 years, is that you see people setting goals now. Like, okay, I have this thing I want. I really want to achieve it, and I need to put the pieces in place or the plan in place to make it happen.
Right. So, and that's obviously, it's a big push. And I think it has to do with a lot of the energy shifting that we're seeing too, is that people are realizing I have to be able to do what's right for me. I also have to
Mm-hmm.
do what's right with the family. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
elements to all of
Right.
that. And I think that's where we're seeing some of those changes definitely with goals
Mm-hmm.
and versus resolutions, so just like you were saying, kind of a roadmap. So,
Yeah.
vision board, is it
Mm-hmm.
for everyone? Is it for your preteen, your
Absolutely.
teen, your mom, your dad, your everybody?
Yeah, it's so funny you say that. And I wish I would have had my sons. My son came to me the other night, my 9-year old, and he said, Mom, I want to make a vision board. So he sat down at our kitchen table for 2 hours, and the things that he put on it, just mind blowing. I thought, wow, he's really thinking and thinking
Yeah.
long term and something you wouldn't expect in a young child. And so that was really empowering. And so I think that it's very easy to say it's for anyone. It could be for a business that wants to get their employees goal minded or on a track with some sort of a mission or a plan they're about to put in place.
Right.
It's great for people that might be in a marketing type business where they
Hmm.
have a goal. They might want to get so many people on their team that year. It could be for a group of friends that just wants to get together and they enjoy each other's company and they want to sit and chat about the things that they want over the next year.
Right.
So it could be for anyone.
All right. So that's perfect. So it's not just female driven, guys. It's for
Oh no.
everyone. Yeah. So Casey Tate, who is a very dear friend of mine, said, my first goal is to make a vision board. So let's get
Hooray!
started. Yay, Casey. So let's get started and let's tell Casey and everyone else how we do this. So what do we
Sure.
need?
Okay, so the first thing you're going to need, and I'll show you the backside of this is what I use. This is cardstock. And the reason I
Okay.
use cardstock is just because it's not quite as big as a large poster board. I
Okay.
prefer the size and I like that it's not flimsy, but it's not real stiff either.
Okay.
But you can use poster board. Um, you can use large sheets of construction paper, whatever your preference is. I just tend to go to cardstock. You're going to
Right.
want to also get magazines. If you don't get magazine subscriptions, some ideas that I have to get some is to either go to your local half price books if you don't want to spend a lot on them. They actually have a lot there. Your
Yeah.
neighbors, shout out to your friends, your coworkers. You guys, I put a post on my neighborhood page, for instance, and I have a container. I have a giant container full of magazines now. I mean,
Right.
it's unreal where you can get them. So don't think you have to go out and spend a lot of money on magazines.
Okay.
The other thing, though, that you can use is things that resonate with you. Maybe you've kept some clippings or pictures or photos. Those
Hmm.
are important. Those are key and those are special to you. Some other things, too, are calendars. Calendars have very
Okay.
powerful images. So
Yeah.
you can use old calendars. I suggest markers because then you can mark comments and things on it. And the good old glue sticks and scissors. So that's really all you need. It's that simple to put one together and just time and a relaxed state of mind.
Okay. And so when you gather all of these materials, are we kind of on the side writing down like, okay, we know what this goal is going to be, and so this one is focused on my family, and this section is
Right.
focused on my career? Are we doing individual boards for each of those items, or are we going to put everything together in one?
I think you need to go where your heart goes. And the
Okay.
reason I say that is if right now your present state of mind is to focus on your business or your hobbies, then perhaps that's where your vision board needs to be focused. I did
Okay.
too. And the reason that I did too was because I did, and I'll show you the first one. This one right here is my vision board for all the hobbies and career goals that I have. So
I
that's
love the
one. But
minions.
yeah, I love minions. I hope y'all do too, because I love them. And then this one was more about family and focusing on the home. For instance, I'll point out, like I put Princess Diana on here with her boys. I have two
Right.
boys, and to me, she's a powerful image
Hmm.
of a successful mother who really loved her kids. So
Right.
that's where the vision boards and the images can really be powerful. That's
Okay.
something that resonates with me.
Right.
So they can be
Perfect.
for anything you're focused on. It always should start from some sort of a goal or a purpose, though.
Okay. So we put in our mind, okay, we have this goal, we have this idea. So tonight we say, in the next 6 months, I want to get started on this new book. By the way, guys,
Mm-hmm.
Beth writes romance and children's books and all kinds of great things. So you should be looking for that too. But so if you were to do, say, a book board, what would that look like? Where would we start?
Awesome. So, what I would suggest doing is going through magazines and looking for images that are going to be important to what you want to do with that book. Do you want to be a New
Okay.
York Times bestseller? So, and of course, we all do as
Yes.
authors, right? So, finding that image of maybe a New York Times bestseller, or maybe we want to conquer the romance genre. So we find all things that are tied to romance images.
Okay.
Or we want to read another author's work for our own inspiration. I do that, I know personally.
Mhm.
And maybe finding it could even be a printed Facebook post from my favorite author,
Yeah.
and putting it on that vision board, something that you want to strive towards with your writing goals.
Okay.
And actually, I'll show you right here. For me, for instance, the stack of books was just um,
Mhm.
a Christmas ad of stacked books. But I want to read 25 self-help or motivational books this year. So that's my
Right.
focus. That's that image for me.
Well, one of our favorite self-help guy, even though he's not going to like that I just called him that, just logged on. Hey, John. He says,
Hi.
"What's up?" And
Hey, John.
Anthony, hey. And one of my
Hey.
favorite people ever, Courtney Kane Sides, is on with us tonight too. Guys, don't forget to put your comments down there. Okay, so we gather our images, and then is there
Mhm.
any order and how we have to place them, or what are we doing
No.
after that?
I think
Okay.
the first thing you want to do is cut them out. Just cut out anywhere between 4 to 8 and then start moving them around. And I literally think it becomes an inherent thing if you just kind of let
Okay.
the ebb and flow go and you're like, all right, this feels good here and this feels good here. And I really have no rhyme or rhythm to it. I just put them all down and I see where I just feel happiest that they are on that paper, as silly as that may
Right.
sound. I know some people are very meticulous and maybe they may be very finite with where they place images on them, but I just say personally roll with it.
Okay.
And I think that kind of puts your heart into it a little bit too.
So, hey, AJ, Cindy, and Todd, you guys are logging on tonight too. We're so glad you're here. So, for me, it's no secret, especially
Mm-hmm.
the people that are commenting tonight, totally OCD about everything. So, you would suggest that I didn't glue everything down until I had everything in
Right.
place. Is really what you're saying?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay,
Don't
good.
grab this until it's
Don't,
where you want
no
it.
gluey yet.
No
All right.
glue.
No glue. All right, got it. And so you suggested something early on, and that was markers. So
Uh-huh.
we have everything in place.
Yeah.
We've glued it down. Now, what are we doing with these
Uh-huh.
markers?
So I keep lots of packs of these markers. They're The fine tip markers. I get them a lot in the craft aisle, usually at Hobby Lobby, just because I prefer their stuff.
Right.
And what I'm doing, like I'll show you on this one. It says, and part of my penmanship's terrible on it, but it says eat well, live well. It's just little messages to myself to remember when I'm looking at this. That's why I put it on there. That's
Right.
it. Eat, or some little slogan or little motto that you remember, like, oh, that's what that is. There's a couple right here having wine. That was for me. I put time with spouse, just because I want to make sure that I'm focusing and committing time to my
Right.
spouse and my marriage and my relationships.
Okay. So we've got it all done. We've put our slogans in. Now, where are we putting this and how are we using them throughout the
Sure.
time? Are we using them for short term? Are these long term?
Uh-huh.
How many do we need? Like, fill us in.
I think you need to determine first what your goal is. The
Okay.
key thing that I do, I do it in this order. And when I do workshops, I do it in the specific order, and it
Okay.
serves a purpose. So I start with a bucket list. So even if you came to a workshop with the idea already, like, oh, this is the goal, this is what I want to do,
Right.
I want to open your mind. A bucket list is a chance to totally sit down and just write. You don't think, you just do. Because your subconscious mind is rolling in the background, and you want to give yourself zero limitations. There are no limitations. If money were not an issue, if time weren't an issue, if you could do and be and have anything you wanted, what would that be? And I think it's interesting because a lot of the time people are like, oh, I don't know, I might have a few. And then
Right.
about 15 minutes later, it's, can I have a second sheet of paper?
Yeah.
Can I
Right.
have another one?
Yeah.
Sure. And so then from there, I say, okay, if you had to pick one, just one right now, which one would it be and why? The why is huge because the why is your reason for wanting to commit and pursue this. If you're only half in, it's probably not going to happen. They say 8% of goals actually are successful
Wow.
that
That's
people
kind of
set out for.
shocking, right?
It
Yeah.
is. It's
Wow.
very, very shocking.
Hmm.
So I want people to sit back and say, all right, on a scale of 1 to 10, this would at least, I say, at least be a 6. If you're not even at a 6, pick another one. It's
Right.
time for another one.
Off you go.
And then, right. And then the second part after that I go into is, and what I do in my workshops is go into how do you achieve goals? How do you go from A to B to C? And why are these steps so important? And I give you an outline and a map for achieving that goal and sticking with it. And journaling is a huge part of that process. So I
Right.
always say journal that goal every day. Then, after I get through the goal setting part of it, that's when I move into the vision boards because that's given you time to really sit and marinate on it and think about it. And then it's not as difficult to come up with images or what you
Right.
want that vision board to be about. And it could be that today you're like, all right, I have the heart and the mind and the focus. I want to focus on my professional goals. And then maybe a week later, all right, I'm ready to focus on family. And do a different one then.
That's excellent advice. And I know journaling is, you and I both do it every single
Yeah.
day. There are a lot of people here that do it every single day. And it does keep it up front and focused. So instead of it just being
Right.
on paper, this is your visual extension of that, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So where am I putting this? Am I putting it in my office? Certainly not behind me, but in front
No.
of me. Yeah.
So this is what I suggest. Put it in the place you are most often and you know you're going to look at it. So if that's the refrigerator in the morning, put it in the refrigerator on the refrigerator. If that's your bedside table, put it there. If that's your office, put it there. And I suggest taking a picture of the one that you really want to focus on if you make more than one and put that picture on your wallpaper on your phone. Put that on your wallpaper on your PC too. Put it everywhere.
So it's constantly in there, whether it's conscious
Right.
or subconscious. Okay, that makes
Correct.
sense. Totally makes sense. And then if it starts to not resonate because those goals are already in the past, they're in the review, or you have really conquered some of that, what do we do then? Are we making another one? What are we
Sure.
shifting?
Right. What I do personally, I save all of my own journals and all of my own vision boards. I even have my original bucket list. It's been revamped, but I keep it because to me, that's a stamp in time that I can never get back. That's a reminder of where I've been and where I'm going.
Right.
So I always say, hold on to them. And I think you know in life when it's time to part with something. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe you hold on to them for 10 years and then 10 years later you say, I'm done with this journey in this chapter. I can move
Right.
on. Or you save it for your kids and they find
Mhm.
it one day when we're old and gray. I just think you've got to figure out how powerful that image continues to be for you.
Right.
And if you find that you're the kind of person that every quarter, every 3 months, or every 6 months, you're ready for the next goal, time for a new vision board.
Right. And I want to remind everyone, please ask your questions if you have any that are coming up because we can see them and Beth can answer them for you live right now. You keep talking about your workshops. So can you kind of fill us
Uh-huh.
in how you do those
Yeah.
and where you
Uh-huh.
do them? And I'm going to
Sure.
start begging for you to come here to do one. But anyway, go ahead.
I'll go
All
there and
right,
do one.
come on.
Absolutely. So my next workshops coming up are going to be January 14th at the Georgetown, Texas Library.
Okay.
That one's going to be from 1:15 to 3:45. So that's a local one.
Okay.
And then I'm doing one in Moravia, Texas at the Mayak Winery. That one's going to be focused, however, on bucket lists versus
Okay.
vision boards. And then eventually I will do a vision board workshop there. We're just going to break it up a little bit differently. So January 14th and February 11th are the next two. I will put that information on my website at bethanstifflemire.com. Now, if you go to my website, there is a tab you'll see there for workshops. And I outline all the details of what I do and what I bring to the table for those workshops.
Right.
If it's professional, it's going to be focused on the bucket list, the goal setting, and the vision board itself. If it's
Right.
going to be more of a fun party with friends, it's going to be a little different because I think that the vibe of that type of
Sure.
a party is different than a professional one. But I still think that it's very important for anyone, whether professional or for fun.
Yeah, definitely. And so that is a great thing too, because you can think about that in a different way, right? Is that
Uh-huh.
you are really taking that inspiration from so many different places in your life, the career, the
Right.
friends, all of it. Getting one that says, "Hi, Beth, and thanks for the video. I can't make it to your workshop, but you're a true inspiration."
Oh, nice.
Oh, hey,
Thanks.
Debbie. Debbie Hunt is on with us. She says,
Hi.
"Hi, Danielle and Beth." So many great friends with us here tonight. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
guys. So Beth, you've got those going on. You've got your
Uh-huh.
tabs for your workshop.
Uh-huh.
Give us, if we were going to do this at home by ourselves,
Uh-huh.
you said start with
Mm-hmm.
the bucket list, do it in perhaps a quiet space.
Right.
Don't overthink and just get
Mm-hmm.
started, right? And so many
Right.
people, I know this sounds very strange, but some people may not be aware of what really, truly a bucket list is. So can you tell us really quickly?
Sure. So a bucket list is a list of anything you want to do in your life or anything you want to do before you die. It's really that
Right.
simple. But what happens, and I know you and I both know this, as soon as you write something down, that's when
Yes.
the manifestation happens. That's when
Right.
the magic happens.
Right.
There is truly magic to putting pen to paper and
Hmm.
taking an idea, and that's the first step in turning it into a reality. So
Right.
it's the first key step in anything, for me at least. So
Right.
that is truly what a bucket list is, and it's not giving yourself any limitations.
Right.
It is that one place you can do that. To
Yeah.
me,
So I mentioned this too, guys. With Beth being a close friend of mine, I love when she's on her roll of her bucket list. You've got to look at her Facebook page when she gets going because you'll see these cute, like little animated things. Like Beth loves sloths. I mean, it's a huge
I
thing
love
for her.
sloths.
So it's like it's always on her bucket list. So I'll send her funny little things on that. But even
Uh-huh.
this, you put this out in writing that this is something you wanted to do,
Yes,
and now look what's
it's
happened.
happening.
So yeah, so you
Right.
created this kind of digital online vision board, and now we've rolled into this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That was one thing I wanted to do, and what's funny is it was one of the few times I've ever written something down and then almost immediately did it. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
wait. I just wanted to do it. And I think that's the great thing is it just felt natural. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes it more powerful for me.
Right.
And yeah.
So, any other tips, tools, anything that you can give us that we should know before we get started on our own?
So always start with the bucket list
Okay.
if you really don't have any direction at all. I suggest doing one for anyone, anywhere, in any walk of life, though, at some point,
Right.
because it can be a real awakening to where you are and where you want to be. The second thing is to really get goal minded. If I can't work with you to do any sort of goal setting or accountability, find someone or a book or program that can really teach you how to get from A to B with a goal. And here's a big tip. This is a big giveaway
Mm-hmm.
that I hope will help. And I always say goal equals backwards. The trick to
Hmm.
that is you start at the end where you want to be and you work your way back so you figure out all of the steps in between to get
Hmm.
where you want to be.
Yeah.
So goal equals backwards.
I
Um,
love that.
and after that, then move into that vision board. And remember, don't make it stressful getting all trying to figure out how to get magazines. Just find them where you can. Ask people if they have them. Hold on to images or print things off your computer that are meaningful to you. Pinterest
Okay.
is great too.
Pinterest is great for
Pinterest is
everything,
awesome.
right?
Yep.
Those are great tips. And then if someone wanted to perhaps do a consultation with you one-on-one, if they
Uh-huh.
couldn't do a website or a workshop with you, is
Hmm.
that available to them?
Absolutely. It's something that
All
I'm
right.
rolling out now, so I'm starting to take clients for that. So if you go to my website and you just reach out to me via the contact page, I'd be
Mm-hmm.
happy to connect with you and see what it is that you need, whether that's goal setting or maybe it's just accountability getting to your goal.
All right, perfect. Beth, thank you so much.
Yes.
Have
I'm happy
fun.
to be
I've got to
here.
get started. I know. Happy New Year. What did I say when we first started? June? I don't know. Maybe something big on my vision board is going to happen in June. Who knows? But thank you so much. And I want
Thank
to
you.
thank you. I want to remind everyone that we have more lives coming up this year. The next one is going to be on the 11th of this month with Courtney Kane's side. So I'll be on her site. So if you haven't been on her site, please jump on there and we'll be doing a conversation in the middle of the day for that. More stuff. And Beth, as you get going on your website, I'd love to have you back to chat some more.
I'd love to come back.
All right. Well, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye bye.